Okay, let's continue. Why? Because just to make sure we don't need editing. Now you can see we create, let's talk about this parameter. What is that parameter? We'll try to quickly walk through topic by topic today because these are all simple topics and easy to understand. Right. So now here we can simply say positional org test. Okay. So by default, you can take what is positional parameters means it's asking, you can see add this file to GitHub because I integrated this yesterday. Right. One more our friend, Pradeep also joined this and we both worked on this and integrated this. So all that anyhow, I don't want to get more into that discussion now. So what is positional arguments? So by default, the arguments which we declare, right? The parameters which we declare with a function, the parameters which we declare with a function are positional, right? With a function or what are positional parameters, right? For example, let us take an example. So you take def something like anything you can say f1 something like name comma age. You can take like this. These are positional. And what is important with positional is order is important. While passing values, you should make sure that you are passing values in proper order. If you have name parameter first and age next, then you have to pass values in the same order. You should pass name first and age after that. That is important. So other than that, we don't have much to discuss here about positional parameters. Only important thing about positional parameters is order is important. And if you change the order, automatically the values are passed to improper variables, like they are not sent to appropriate variables. So if you don't follow order, then what happens? Values are passed to inappropriate values. You got it right, Fred. So just you have to take care of that. That's all. Mostly we use positional, sometimes default, sometimes keyed. Right. It depends again. So now getting to the example, just print name and age. We don't need to do much here. Once you print name and age, we do two test cases. Let us take, okay, testing. Testing means we should call the function and to this we should pass value, something like in the first case I am passing. So now we are using test case one. You can create that main driver program. You can add that if some name equal to main or something, you can test that as well. That should be also fine for each program. It's always good thing. It's up to you, friends, anyhow. So test case one, right? What is that we are doing? We are taking two values, John, comma, some 25 or 26. So this is test case one. And in this case, we are passing values properly, right? You can see order, we are following proper order. Everything is fine here. So we don't have a problem here. Let us test this. Okay. Now you got here output as John and 26. Similarly, test case two. We'll just flip the values. This anyhow, we most of us should have a quick idea on this because these are all simple things. There is nothing much to discuss about positional, only just to get that clear idea. Right? What is it? Now, in this case, just flip values. Instead of John, you give some 30 here instead of age. Okay, give some name here, something like Peter. Okay, now run this now. Just run this code. Now you can see here, even though we are not passing values in proper order, still Python parameters accepts them because in Python, parameters are dynamically typed. So we don't have a predefined data types here. We don't apply built-in data types. Based on value, implicitly, your interpreter decides what should be the data type of variable. And here the point is, what is that, friends? These are dynamic data types. So until you pass values, even your variable doesn't know what type is it. So that's why what is that? Who has to take care of these passing values if the parameters are positional parameters? Developer should take care of it. Developers means it's we only, right? This is a quick idea. You can see here, right? If you don't follow order, still your parameters accepts them, and they might be used in the your application. At such times, you don't get expected results. And for that, who has to be cautious here? Developer have to be cautious. That's all, friends. This is quick idea about positional parameters. So make sure you follow the position when you are using what parameters? Positional parameters. I think this is not coming in right format. I'm sharing it as a code snippet. Okay. Now insert it and send it. Okay. Now you can copy this code. If you want, you can test it. At the end of this session, I will push this code to the GitHub so that even the latest copy of the code will be available in GitHub. You can directly take it. I made it public as well. This is about positional parameters. I hope you understood that. Next, arbitrary arguments. Actually, we have two types. Means arbitrary means variable length arguments. And we have two types in Python. Star args and star KW args. So it's up to you. What matters here is the stars matters here. This argument names, I believe you can change it. We'll just try that in the code itself directly. So variable length arguments. Variable means if you declare one argument, still this one argument can accept one value, two values, three values, four values, five values. It's up to you. In each test case, you can pass multi-sized values, multi-sized input. Means what? You can pass one or two or three or four or any number of input values you can pass to these two parameters. And maybe you ask me a question. What is difference between star args and star KW args? Simple, right? When you say star args, it's more or less, it is a sequence. It is a sequence. That sequence is nothing but implicitly it is a tuple. I'll show you all that. Second one is what? Star KW args means what? This is not sequence. This is internally or implicitly a dictionary. What is it? Dictionary means it accepts, when I say dictionary, it accepts key and value pairs, not Paris. Okay. Key and value pairs. That's it, friends. So implicitly, right? Implicitly, this is sequence, which is nothing but a tuple. Star is single star. And double star is what? It is implicitly a dictionary. Simply double star means it takes two arguments. Single star means takes one argument. Of course, you might pass multiple size of values. You got it right. Multi-size of values. That is different. But what is the point here? This accepts the implicitly star args is a tuple. Star KW args is a dictionary, which is nothing but key and value pairs. I hope this should be very clear for you. Okay, let us test these arguments one by one. So it's a simple, very simple thing to test it, right? But knowing this is useful to you because we might use them sometimes in our coding, in our development. So now what do you do? I don't know if we use special characters, it will accept test. Or otherwise you can simply say args test. Okay, underscore asterisk underscore. Let us see if this works. I doubt if it. See, I told you special characters are not allowed in a identifier. It might be function name or anything, file name. So I'll do one thing, arbitrary. Instead of that, I just write it as arbitrary underscore args underscore test. I believe you can use different name as well. We don't need to add to GitHub now. So let it be like that. So what is arbitrary variables? Means simply speaking, variable length arguments, right? Simply we can add in the comment. These are variable length arguments. And when you see the example, you can clearly understand what is that variable length. You don't need to, we don't need to sweat much here. Okay. So simple. Let us take the example. Variable length means a variable length arguments accepts multi-sized input, one input or two inputs or three inputs. Okay, simply speaking. Maybe if you want, I can give a small explanation here or small notes here. Arguments accepts what? Accepts multi-sized or variable sized inputs. Variable size of input means that input size can be one value or it can be two values or three values. Okay, let us take a small example and test it. Suppose I take a function f1 again, and you can take any function, friends. It's not like it should be f1. I took f1 here and I say star args here. Okay, or I can say star rags as well. Okay, it's up to you, friends. If you want to put args or rags, I don't think they are built in, but still just a quick idea that star matters here. When interpreter sees that star, then definitely it understands. Okay, this is a variable length argument, so it accepts either one or two or three any values. That's how it come to know. Okay, but we'll follow the standard. Let's make it args. Generally in coding we put args only, but it's not mandatory. Just to tell you that I just put rags there. Now, first thing, always check type of something so that that gives little deeper understanding about that parameter. Okay, when you say asterisk, star asterisk here, check type of that asterisk. And once you declare that asterisk here, again, don't use asterisk everywhere. While using, you don't need to use asterisk. Only while declaring, you need asterisk. Okay, when asterisk is needed, asterisk is needed. This is called asterisk. Okay, asterisk. Okay, or here directly display. Okay, asterisk is needed only while declaring parameter because we don't have pointer topic here in Python like in C or C++. If you see asterisk in C++, some of you might remember quickly pointers. We don't have explicit pointers in Python or most of these advanced OOP languages like Java, C Sharp, Python. They don't have explicit pointers. Then maybe you can ask, then do we have implicit pointers? Definitely we have implicit pointers, right? Because everything, here, when we say implicit pointer, all that objects we create definitely have addresses. And everything is object in Python. One important point is in Python, everything is an object and every object has address, right? And to access that address, we use that ID function as well, right? So references are implicitly there, not like explicitly. We don't need to declare. I will talk about that scenario as well. Well, at the end of this functions topic, maybe if possible, I'll talk today, else tomorrow. Pass by reference, pass by value scenario is there. We'll talk about it. Okay, fine. Let's get jump to the discussion now. When we say asterisk args means what is asterisk here? It is needed when we need this asterisk only while declaring parameter. In remaining cases, you don't need to use asterisk every time. Okay. Now I just found type of args here. I want not found. I am finding type of args. Later on, I print this args as well. But as we are clearly informed, what is that? This args is a tuple. If it is tuple, if you want, you can iterate it and do some operations on this args parameter. Okay. So anyhow, first let's quickly test it. Maybe if needed, later we'll do a little mathematical operations here. Okay. Now, first thing, let's start testing this. So we do testing. Let's create multiple test cases. For testing, what is the test case one? What I am doing now, I am passing one. I am not passing anything. Let us see what happens. If a function has parameter, remember this point, friends. This is very important. If I didn't discuss this, very important point. Just have a note. If a function is parameterized, either it can be one or two or how many other parameters are there. If a function has parameters, we must and should pass parameters or values through function call. That is very important, right? If a function is parameterized, if it is having one parameter, at least we should pass one value through that function call. Two parameters, we should pass two values through function call. Three parameters, we should pass three values through that function call. Okay. Number of values you are passing should match with number of arguments here. That is very important. It is an important understanding between a function and a function call. Got it right, friends? Are important agreement between function and function call. That is a rule actually. And you should follow that. But for now, I am not passing anything. We can start with zero. Here, when you say asterisk arcs means I didn't pass anything. I'm going from there onwards. Next, after that, I passed one value, test case 2. Right? What is that? I'm taking another test case. What is test case 2? Passing one value. It can be any value. It's up to you. What type you want to pass, it's your choice, friends. Test case 3. Two values, three values. Okay. Test case 4. Three values. Test case 5. Sorry, I think I am going one. See, in test case 2, just pass one value. Or test case 0, you put here. 0 values. Test case 1, 1 value. Test case 2, 2 values, 1 comma 2. Test case 3. When I just pass two values, immediately change it that parameter here. See here. To star arcs means what? We are passing multiple values means the nature, actual nature of that has been detected here by PyCharm. Okay, test case 3. Pass 3 arguments. Anything of your choice. It's not like you should pass only integers. It's up to you. You can pass heterogeneous data if you want. Okay, I'm just passing to test the scenario. That's all. Just create test cases. Okay, test case 4. We are passing 4 values. Let's see now. In this way, you can pass 5, 6, how many ever values you want through this function call, because this is like variable length argument. You can pass some group of lists, group of tuples, or heterogeneous data. It's up to you, friends. Okay. Now right click run this now. Test it. You can see here. When you look at type, we didn't get any error. Even if we are passing 0 value, still it's working here. See here. Okay. And after that, if you see, we are able to pass 2 values, 3 values, 4 values. You can see here. Got it right, friends. So that's the idea. And clearly, when we check type of args, it is showing it is a tuple. That should be very clear for us. So the default nature of this is a tuple. Okay. So now we can comment this type. Okay. We don't need to print it every time. Just to show you that this is of type tuple. I just use type here. Okay. But now you should get that idea, right? What kind of argument is this? It is a tuple which accepts variable length values. Okay, right click and now you test it. You can see better output this time. You can see here. And values, it's up to you. It's not like you should pass 1, 2, 3, 4 or anything. And it's not like you should pass these values in order. First time you can pass 10 values. Second time you can pass 5 values. Third time you can pass 100 values. It's up to you. Now, this is the quick idea. You got it right. This is how a variable length argument look like. Now, suppose as we are passing integer data, I just want to do a simple mathematical operation. What is that operation? I want to find sum of values, all values. Okay, sum value equal to 0. And then just what I do? you know, right, what to do. You have to iterate if it is a data structure or if it is a sequence or non-sequence, anything, set or dictionary or a sequence like tuple or otherwise that one list or string. For you can then what you can do, right? If it is sequence, simply or any non-sequence, we should iterate them. If it is a data structure or a collection in Python, make sure we should iterate them. So for what is that I should do for val in that, which one I should use here? Args colon. You don't need to apply asterisk args again. Just remember, friends, when do we need asterisk args? Only while declaring parameter to function, we need asterisk args. And in rest of the cases, you can use args directly. Right now, I am iterating this args because args is a tuple. We know I want to find some of these values. Right, you can just add a small condition check here. Sum plus sum of equal to sum val equal to sum val plus val. But you can avoid unnecessary addition when sometimes your tuple might be empty, then or it might just have one value. In such cases, what is that? Don't do any validation or don't do any functionality, right? So you have to eliminate such cases when you are working in a development. This is important. Got it right, friends? So unnecessary operations we should avoid, friends. So how do you avoid it? Simply first, before you go to this looping itself, you just see here if args is not empty, right? So you have for checking or otherwise the other simple thing is easiest thing is what? If length of args. If you get tuple is data structure, right? We can apply length on any collection in Python, right? Greater than one means even one also you should avoid because with just one value, what is the point of adding that single value? No use, right? More than one means then there is a we can add two or three values, right? So if your argument is having at least two values, then you should carry out this operation. Else you don't need to do. And this elimination you should do, friends. Always make sure when you are working on some development, these kind of checks are very important. Got it right. Usually, usually in regular learning, we miss out these kind of details. Okay, but these are important things. Got it right. So finally, I did what is just a simple logic. We implemented a simple logic here. What is that logic? You don't need this empty. Remove this. We are not depending on empty. Even we can check on empty thing also, but still no issues. We just used length here to eliminate two scenarios. What is that? If length this args is empty, or if it have just one element, then we should not carry out any iteration here, any functionality here, right? We should not implement any logic. So we then finally what once this is done, we have to print result. Print the sum is or the total is, you can say something, friends. Sum is this one, and then dot format. If you want to use format, if without format, we can use print. Print can be used in 5 or 6 types in Python. Okay. Which one you follow is your choice, but I follow the same in my development for testing purpose. Usually, when you push code to production, we don't use this. We remove prints. Okay. Or most of the time, I depend more on debugging only. Right. Okay. So you can see here, total is 10. Total sum is what? You can see here sum is 0. You can see in the first two cases, you can see here. Sum value is 0. In second case also, sum value is 0. Right. And in third case, sum is 3. You can see. In fourth case, sum is 6. In fifth case, sum is 10. It's working as expected. And we have avoided unnecessary additional sum of first two cases because we don't need that. Just on one value, what is the point of doing sum? unnecessary iteration of loop, unnecessary doing of logic, all this. So this is the quick idea, friends, where you can use variable length argument and pass data and do some validations on that. Okay. And this is a simple, very useful information. Even though this program is a small one, but this has a useful tip in this added, right? So maybe if you remember that, please apply in your development. Now I am sharing this code with you. Maybe you can test it for yourself. Now it's not there. I think it has been copied somewhere. Oh, let me copy it one more thing. Copy this and share here. So maybe we can pass title also. No? Okay, then let me just put that arbitrary variable length argument star args. Add the title and insert. And then okay. Yeah, just share the code with your friends. Next, after that, okay, we had completed on discussing variable length argument, right? Is this clear for all of you? Any questions or anything from this? All of you are clear, right? Okay. If I don't get any response means I assume you are good with this. If you ask questions means I assume you didn't you have some issue here. Okay. Or we need to something to discuss. Next, let's go to the next topic. Another one is arbitrary arguments. In that we are talking about asterisk KW args. Let's talk about it. Okay. Another example. Again, same thing. What is that? When you say KW args means by most of the time test. No need to add. Just leave that. For some time you can ignore it. So now we are talking about what variable length arguments. KW args. What is this KW args? Again, say same like this one. Which one? Star args. This is also a dynamic variable. Another name for these kind of variables is these are dynamic variables. What we can add this. These are dynamic variables. Means what? They accept n number of values. It can be 10, 20, 100, 1,000, 1 crore, 1 lakh, anything, friends. Okay. And how is this? Implicitly a dictionary. What is it, friends? Implicitly, this is a dictionary. Means it will be in the form of key and value pairs. Right? So that's all, friends. So now the point is we have to test it. Same thing. Just def f1 and then to this, copy this parameter and pass it here. Now, for a first time, quick testing is what? For understanding these things are important. Other than that, see, we had done enough implementation so far. That is enough for you to start working with some complex coding. Okay. So now the point is we know star is when you have two stars means what do you mean by that? It is a variable length argument. That too, it is a dictionary. And generally, this acts as a parameter to function. Right. Next one after that. Let's print it. Let's just print it. Just a type of AWRs. Okay. Next after that is don't use type. And you know this is dictionary, right? Later, in the later stage, once you do these two quick tests, like checking type and printing that and seeing data, next in the later stage, next step should be what? You should, as you know, it is a dictionary, iterate it and see data, how it is coming. Next step is iterating that. And in that process, if you want to do anything, you do it. It's up to you, friends. I'm just giving you some idea. Okay, so now this is a very simple thing to get that basic idea. Right, next, let's start doing testing on this. To do testing, simply what is that? You should call function. And for this, important thing is you cannot just pass like this data like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this. Suppose you pass like this. Let us see if it is what would be the output here. Let us observe this. Run this now once. See here, it is throwing error. Why it is saying takes 0 positional arguments, but 4 were given. You got it right. So means what? This is one thing. You can directly use empty testing, and you can see here, right? You don't need to pass anything, and still you can call this function because star star args accepts value from a size of 0, length of, I mean the input size of 0 to input size of anything. Okay. Here it's not like we should pass at least one value or something. Got it right? So this is one thing, friends. Next one. So this is test case one. So we are just calling, we are just doing a function call without passing any values here. Next one, test case two. Then how do I pass data as a sequence like this? It is not accepting because it is a dictionary. It always accepts data in the form of what? Key and value page, something like that. 1 colon, right? Let's take some fruit names here. If not fruits, some other flower names. Okay, rose. Then 2 colon, some, what is that we should pass? Some lily. Something like this. Let's see if this is accepted by the KWRX parameter because it is a dictionary that accepts values in the form of key and value pairs. So you can see this. First time I'm passing one. In the first test case, I am not passing anything and seeing if it is working or not. Definitely it's working. In that case, it just try to return empty dictionary. In the second test case, I am just passing what? One parameter. In the third, I mean a dictionary with the length of size 1. In the third test case, I am passing a dictionary with the length of size how much, friends? 2. With the length 2 here, rows, comma, 2 colon. I am passing lily here. Okay, let's run this now. So it's throwing error. Okay, what is that? F1 takes. Okay, no problem. Why to waste that much of time? I don't want. So simply what you can do, star KWRX. Python example. Anything you can take here. Maybe the input I am passing might not be in a right format. So let's do that. This is working. We tested. We are good. And here, okay, we should pass directly like this. It's not like what is that? Key and value or in big form. We should say like this. Some 1 equal to rows. If we pass like that, still it's throwing error. Okay, let me use some variable name then, some x equal to. Okay, it's not accepting integer as this thing. So it is taking some variable here. Some x equal to rows and y equal to lily. Okay, and remove this braces or spreads. By default, it will convert this data to, and instead of colon, what is that you should do? Assign, use assignment operators. This should work now. And don't use any braces here. Just pass values in the form of like this. And x acts as a key and rows acts as a value. And here x acts as a key and rows acts as value. Y acts as key, again lily as value. Let's test it. More than anything, let's test it. Perfect. See, all that data got converted to dictionary. we are directly passing dictionary, it is saying, no, 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 you don't pass like that. Give me raw data, I will convert it to dictionary. That is what KWRX is saying. So now you should also be more clear with this testing. Why? Because we came to know few important observations. What is that? If you pass directly data in the form of dict, it won't accept. So I did that, but it didn't work for me. So I just changed it. So this is how you should pass a key value paid to a dictionary. Got it right, friends? Then automatically see when I say x equal to rows, it converted x to this one. You can see here. It converted x to string. Like usually, let me pass this as string directly if it works. Curious case of Monora. Okay. It is not working. Pass like this. If some name equal to value. That should how we should pass this, test this data. Now run this. Okay. So it is working. This is working pretty fine. Right. This is the simple idea about KWRX. And suppose you are passing more data. Suppose you are adding one more key value pair, another test case, and you want to do some iteration on that. So test case for you are adding more flowers, some z equal to, so we have rose lily and then any other flowers, friends. So some hibiscus. Okay, enough. The three is enough. So suppose if this dictionary length is greater than 1, then you should extract these values from the dictionary. So you should be a little iteration here. What is that iteration? Simply if length of this arguments. You can apply this. If it is greater than 1, not if it is 2 more or 3 or 4, right? Then you should start iterating it. Okay. Greater than 1 column. So now for some name comma flower in, what is that here? This is your dictionary. So kwargs dot items, you can apply items here, items, and this converts your dictionary to what? To a list of tuples, and each tuple have one key and value. So each the tuple of the size of each tuple is 2. Okay, it has 2 values. First one is key, second one is value. But anyhow, it's okay. Now, when we do this, simply what is that? You can say name, comma. Another one is what? Flower. If you want little space, you can add that space in the middle. If you think you need a space, comma, you can put some space here. This is another style of using print here. Each value should be separated with comma here. That's all. Okay. This is enough to iterate that dictionary and extract this key and values from this dictionary. Okay, let's run this. Now you can see here we extracted it. See, simple, right? We're able to see the values. We iterated dictionary and we are able to extract key and value pairs separately, not as a single item, but in as separate items. Key as a separate one, value as a separate one. We separated both key and value and then we printed. And maybe you can use it in different distinctions. Maybe if it is a development, we use this output from this as input for some other process. That's how we just keep working, friends. This is the idea. Got it right? So this is idea about KWRs and what is KW, how to declare and what is implicit type and how to pass values to that and how to test all this. This is simple idea about this variable length argument. So I'm sharing this code with you. Let me share this code with you. Where is it again? Yeah, this one. Let me take code snippet and then add here. And title, if you want to, you no need, anyhow, you know it, right? Let's just insert and then send. You can copy that data and test it, friends. Okay. This is idea about variable length arguments. So we covered all different types of parameters in parameters of a Python function. You can see here. What is that? A Python function arguments can be of four types here. Default we discussed. Keyword or keyed arguments we discussed. Positional we had discussed today. Arbitrary arguments we had discussed. That too. This is very useful thing, friends. Sometimes there are many problems or many questions people ask in certification exams like that. If you are going for certification, all these are very important and useful for you. Like to solve that MCQs, they use this both of these parameters and try to create some scenarios. So they are tricky. They seem to be very simple but tricky. You have to be very careful with the outputs, all that. Okay. And if you have that clear idea about this, then you can easily through that certification. Okay, that's all, friends. This is quick idea about types of Python parameters or arguments. Now, next topic is main types of functions in Python. So generally in Python, we have how many types of functions? Not just Python, friends. Like Python has an addition of this lambda in other languages starting from C, C++, Java or anything. We have all other remaining three different types. Built-in are there in even in C, I believe. And even what is that user defined, what we create, all these functions we are creating are user defined. And next thing is what? Next thing is recursive is already there. It's always there starting from C language. What is the addition here? New addition in Python. Lambda functions are new addition and these are simple. Just we create a function in a line. Right, that's all. If you want to just create functions in line, lambda functions are very important. And this is very useful topic because lambda functions are used in different use cases. When you are working with even not only Python, if you are working with some PySpark, even there lambda functions has very useful role. And suppose you are working on some data science related projects, lambda functions have importance. Even in data engineering people, because data engineering means they use PySpark, all this, they do all these different types of data analysis, right? So lambdas are something which has more weightage. Remaining things, I think we discuss. And recursive we don't use all the times. And if you master it and if you can apply, it's always a great advantage for us. But if you ask me how many times I am using recursive means it's in a very few occasions, not all the time. Suppose there are 100 occasions, we might use recursions in 5 or 6 occasions. 95 occasions we don't use that. And it's all about your interest and passion to apply, friends. That's all. Okay. Finally, let's get into the discussion now. So built-in functions. Built-in functions means we have used so many built-ins so far. Functions which are already defined. That is built-in. And if you ask me, do we need to discuss this thing? Because already we have discussed enough built-in functions. Functions which are already defined and what and ready to use. Okay. And you can see we have so far we discussed many built-in functions like what is it? If you see all that data structures are collections. Throughout the journey of that, we had discussed so many functions like pop functions or add or append or okay, update or and this generic functions are common functions like length or sorted or all or any or all these are built-in functions. And maybe there is a module map in Python, right? If you want to quickly know about some mathematical functions as well. So let me just use a small program quickly to talk about built-in functions. Generally, when you talk about functions, we can categorize them into all these types. User defined already we had discussed, we were using, right? We'll go one by one. Okay. So built-in means what here? Let me just add a new small Python file here. Built in underscore functions test. I need to discuss one important thing for you, like how to that function documentation. Interesting scenario. I'll talk about it tomorrow maybe. So here there is a module import math. You can see here math module. There are so many because that is what Python is, right? Right. The power of Python is itself is packages or modules. Like almost we have near to 1 lakh libraries or more than that now in Python. Okay, and math is one such library. Similarly, there are so many. You have something like suppose you say import sys. If you ask me what are all these Manoram we didn't understand means simple friends. These are all modules or packages. Some of them might be packages, some of them might be modules. Okay, I'll talk about next topic after this functions is I might take up modules so that you get a clear idea what is module, what is package, how to create modules, all that. But already you know about modules, honestly speaking, because this Python file what you create is a module. That's all. And if you want to understand more deeper into that, we'll talk about it when we jump to modules topic. Okay. Before between jumping from functions to modules, I will also do a working session on integrating GitHub with your PyCharm and doing working with Git commands. That is also going to help you a lot when you are really working in a development, right? So now I took two modules. If you want, you can add more. We already use so many built-in functions just to show you. So for mathematical, right, something like print, you can see math has so many modules, math dot, so many functions built in. You can see all these mathematical functions. See, all trigonometric functions like cosine, sine. We see that we see them somewhere when we are in school days. And similarly, that square root, pi, like you can test pi. Okay, right? And then similarly, if you want, you can take some few examples quickly. I don't want to go too much into this discussion now, but just showing you about built-in functions. Right. So next we can see there are so many mathematicals which you can take direct help from here. Okay, some power function. Okay, some square root functions. You can have some. You can see square root. Suppose you pass some 100, it gives square of 100. Okay, similarly like that, you can test. These are all built-in functions which are predefined. You can use it directly. Similarly, you can test some math dot max. Do you have max function? No, we can you know how to apply max. If it is not there, we can directly use it. Math dot some power. Power operator. We have power function now. Some 2 comma 3 or 2 comma 4 is fine. 2 to the power of 4. It might work like that. Similarly, suppose if you have sys. Sys has so many modules. Okay, something like print some sys dot. Okay, you can try to get something here. There are so many built-in methods here, and sys is something related for doing some calling some useful this hardware related functions like shutting down your program, all that. Okay, suppose you say exit. I use more of this while testing my code. Okay, just to quickly test my code, I put exit somewhere after prints and just see what output is coming. Just to do that, I apply exit generally, but it's okay. Anyhow, after output, if we exit, nothing happens. But generally, we don't apply in a regular program. Okay, exit is not recommended for normal uses. Okay, only when in peculiar cases we apply this exit. Okay, not in all cases, friends. Okay, fine, that's fine. Now, what do you do? These are all built-ins. There are so many thousands and lakhs of built-in functions. That is what the power of Python is. Now run this and see. This is built in. You can see some useful values here. This is pi value 3.14. Most of us know this. Square root of 100 is 10. And then power of 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 4 is 16. After that, program got exited because we applied this 0. Got it right, friends? This is about built-in functions. Understood now? Next one is lambda. Lambda is something really important. This has a lot of weightage. After this, we might also need to discuss about very important functions, advanced functions we can call. Okay, what are those advanced functions? And these are much useful for data engineers, someone who is learning PySpark, all this. For such people, these functions are very useful, friends. Advanced Python functions, Python built-in functions. What is that? So here, first thing is, and we use this a lot, friends. This is very useful. Even in our daily development, we apply this. Okay. So one is map function. Second one is a filter function. Third one is, and another one is, one more is a reduce function. These are definitely useful, and generally we apply this. We apply map and filter. Reduce in few cases we apply. But for big data people are people using PySpark. For them, all these are important. Lambda functions, these kind of functions are very important, friends. Okay. So that is the idea. So what we do is, anyhow, Lambda needs little time. Maybe tomorrow completely we focus on Lambda and these functions. We'll try to have a very detailed understanding of Lambda. I'll try to come up with multiple use cases of Lambda. So different scenarios of Lambda, so that we might have a deeper discussion on that. Okay. So that's all, friends. So we'll stop here today, and then we will jump to this discussion in tomorrow's session. Okay. Any more questions you can ask me, else we'll stop here.